I'm the bomb squad. Fuck my life. Alright, never doing that again. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. Alright, so today I'm going to be addressing everyone's questions about Best of Enemies and actually get to what the film's going to really be about. I'm also just really trying to put out there that this movie's going to be way different than Retribution. While yeah, there's going to be a little bit of repetition with some of the stuff you see, but that just comes with telling the Spider-Man coming out of retirement story again. With that being said, we're doing a ton of things to change it up and actually make that story fresh again. But here's the basic synopsis of the film. Peter Parker has spent the last year of his life without the burden of responsibility and has been happy focusing on his new girlfriend, Gwen Stacy. Meanwhile, Peter's former best friend, Harry Osborn, has been gathering resources to carry out his plan of completely taking over the Magia, with the help of his fellow friend, the Jackal. When the Goblin's lust for power and control over the city poses a threat to tons of innocents, Peter must decide if picking back up his responsibilities as Spider-Man and helping the Scarlet Spider stop Harry is more important than his personal happiness. So the most important thing that you guys are probably wondering about is which characters are going to be returning, which ones are going to be leaving. So I'm just going to go down the list. As for the characters that are returning, and also if they'll be recast or not, here's that list. Spider-Man, obviously. Scarlet Spider, Gwen Stacy, who is being recast, the Goblin, and Shocker. And that's basically it. Characters that have been dropped are Sin Eater, Daredevil, Foggy Nelson, and Eddie Brock. All that shit's getting cut, as well as the Sin Eater Jean DeWolf storyline, any and all symbiote setup, and Peter Parker's stupid character arc of, you know, not wanting to murder. All of this is in favor of a more concise story just about Peter Parker learning what it's like to be a good hero as the Goblin descends more into villainy and insanity as he tries to take complete control over the Magia. Also, if any of you guys are worried that Eric won't be on screen because we cut out Foggy, don't worry. Eric will actually be playing the secondary villain, the Jackal. Now, in the original Responsibility remake pitch video, I said this.
SMR2 was very much about trying to do things that fan films have never done before, and we did. But with this, I want to do everything that all fan films always do, but change it around to make them better and fix their flaws.
And that still holds true. But if you're just not very excited because it just seems like it'll be everything we've all seen before, aka just another Goblin fan film, I get it. All I ask is to give it a chance though, because it might just surprise you. And even with that, if you still don't care for it, stay tuned for Circle of Blood. This name isn't set in stone, by the way. It's just a development title right now. Because what Eric's got cooking with that new script over there is actually new and fresh. A story like the one in Circle of Blood is actually something that's never been done before. At least in a fan film. And I cannot wait to do it. And that covers just about everything. Now on to your guys' questions. Filmform Studios asks, what's your core motivation for wanting to make this film? I was hoping someone would ask that. It all really started from just the unsatisfaction that you guys have all know I've felt with Retribution and its turnout and stuff like that. Because this series had some legitimately good concepts in it that I could have expanded on, but I just threw a bunch of shit in there. You guys know the story. So as we were developing Circle of Blood at the time, and we decided it was going to actually be Spider-Man 3, I saw this as an opportunity to actually be able to fix the mistakes that I made with Retribution, and even some of the responsibility, and make it into the story, I've said this a million times, and make it into the story that I intended it to be and that it should have been from day one. And with this, we definitely have. This is the best thing I've ever written. A lot of people, I don't want to gloat or anything right now. I don't want to seem like I'm gloating right now, but everyone that I've showed this has really liked it, and I think that you guys are going to love it too. And that's another thing with this movie. I've had so much help, way more than before, especially with, you know, the little tiny crew that we had with Responsibility and even with Retribution. Because with those movies, I was a one-man show. I didn't think I needed help with anything. But with this movie, I had so many other people giving me ideas for writing, I had so many people revising the scripts. And I'm also having Eric as an assistant director with this movie, so he's kind of helping me out with some of the things, especially when I'm on screen myself, when I'm like the star of a scene, I have him help me out with that. But yeah, I kind of totally veered off the actual question, but I really just wanted to make something out of that series and that franchise that I'd been working on since I was like 15 for about 4 years. I knew I could do it. I knew I could make something good out of it, and this is my shot right now. I'll see if you guys like it. I'm gonna try not to have every question be that long-winded, sorry about that. Peter Hervel, our Goblin actor, asks, in this new film, what character dynamics will change? Well, the biggest one is Peter Parker isn't a raging dickhead for no reason that wants to murder people. The biggest thing with that is why he doesn't want to be Spider-Man at this point. I just kept saying it over and over again. I just kept hammering it into Eric's head that I don't want to be Spider-Man because you got hurt, you got hurt the last time, which is a decently valid reason, but I don't think it would stick for very long. I don't think that Peter has a very valid argument against what Eric had to say in Retribution. So it focuses more on the relationship between, Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. he doesn't want to be, is evolved into he doesn't want to be Spider-Man right now because of how happy he is with his life right now, how happy he is with Gwen Stacy. It's a more compelling choice that Peter has to make. It's a little bit more relatable, choosing between happiness and something that, you know, you feel responsible for, you feel like you have to do. And I hope that makes sense. I probably explained that really bad. I'm really rusty. Number one, I'm rusty doing Q&As, and I suck at explaining things, so we'll see how this goes still. And another big one is the Goblin. In this one, he's not the Joker, pretty much. He's not just insane and laughing all the time. Not that just kind of boisterous level of insanity. He's a lot more cold in this one, and he's a lot more susceptible to getting angrier easier. I don't want to spoil his arc or what he's actually got going on in the movie because the Goblin's actually my favorite character in the movie, just saying. But if you guys got any, you know, like theories or speculations about what's going on with the Goblin and how it all ties into the Jackal with this movie and everything and what's going on with them, write your theories in the comments. I want to see what you guys think. Oh my god, we're 2 questions down and I feel like I've just taken so much time. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go, here's a quick and easy one. I Like to Spin Webs asks, will there be any more films after this? Yep, 2 more. It's gonna be a quadrilogy. The Lonely Spider asks, will any puppies be curb stomped in this film? Yes, dude, all the puppies will be curb stomped, and since it's a sequel or a remake, you gotta step it up a little bit. Maybe he'll be curb stomping cats too, so get ready for that. What the fuck's wrong with me? Julian J06 asks, will you include nods to memes from the SMR films, like Shocker falling down, the Daredevil run, or "You killed my father"? I understand why you obviously wouldn't, I just thought it would be funny to have at least some nods. You'd actually be surprised. There's quite a lot of, kind of fan servicey-ish nods to previous movies in this movie. Fantasy King asks, will the villains have an origin for why they're villains, or will they just be bad for no reason? It's another good question, because that's something I kind of struggled with before. Yes, they all have motivations, they all have, not origin, like, stories, but it's shown to you why they're bad and why they're doing what they're doing. I feel that the Goblin's a way more compelling character in this movie. Scarlet Studios asks, what is the duration of the film? Well, the script is about 50 pages, and a typical, you know, script page is about 1 minute of screen time, so around 50 minutes, probably around like Renegade time. Here's a good question. Volcanic Studios asks, are you still doing that collab with Brandon Mello? That little bitch. Just kidding, I love you, dude. Your movies are better than mine. Kind of, we haven't talked about it much recently because we've both just been so busy with our own individual projects. He's doing his web series, and I'm doing my stuff, but we still have plans to at least get together, meet up, and shoot something eventually. Whether it be Spider-Man, whether it actually does be a Team Red type thing, we'll have to see. But for now, just look forward to our individual stuff because he's making some cool shit with his web series, and I cannot wait to see it. I'm doing some alright stuff too, you know. I'm doing okay. David Sherwin asks, will Shocker have a bigger role in the Retribution remake? Good question, because that was something that I really wanted to showcase in the original, like, Best of Enemies type thing. That was like a whole big plot point that Shocker was going to be a really, like, big character in it. We were going to do a bunch of cool things with Shocker. We were going to make him a more compelling villain rather than just, you know, the henchman or the lackey or the dude with the stupid voice. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, in this movie we're not going to be focusing on Shocker very much at all. But with that being said, Shocker's actually pretty good in this. At least I think. Now the last question, it's another one by Julian J06. If Circle of Blood will focus on Punisher, will Sin Eater also be a main focus? And will you ever do that I need to be a superior Spider-Man ending like you mentioned in the BTS series? Okay, so this is a great question because all of it's no. I'm gonna break it down for a second. First of all, like I mentioned before, we're still working on the title, and also, I should have made this more clear in the original video, like the video that I posted a couple days ago, that in the early stages, before Best of Enemies was even a thought in my mind again, Circle of Blood was gonna focus on Punisher at one point, but recently he's been scrapped and he's not even gonna be in the movie anymore. And that's actually why we're thinking about changing the name from Circle of Blood to something else. It's because Circle of Blood is a Punisher comic, so since he was gonna be in it, we were going to have to be called Circle of Blood, and since he's not in it anymore, it might confuse some people who've actually read the comic. So I thought it was really convoluted, probably didn't make sense, but hey, whatever. And then, as I mentioned before, Sin Eater is not going to be in it at all, unfortunately. That's a completely scrapped idea. It was going to be a thing at one point, but it's not going to happen anymore. And the Superior Spider-Man ending would be cool, but we're not going to do anything like that with this movie or anything. And that is about it. So thank you guys so much for asking all those great questions. It's cool. I'm glad that I'm able to be open about these movies again, and I'm letting myself kind of talk about it instead of keeping you guys in the dark and being sworn to secrecy and stuff like that. Because it's nice to keep you guys in the loop, you know a little bit about what to expect. I might actually even be posting some BTS videos soon when we start shooting actual Spider-Man stuff. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about all this shit that I just, information blasted you with in the comments below. And I'd love to actually talk about this with you guys. And just comment below. That's about it. I'll see you later.